So today I'll be talking about installing Wi-Fi drivers on Fedora 25 for Broadcom Wi-Fi adapters, because this has been the problem for many people, and this is one of the most annoying problem ever, because once you install the system, you want to probably install a lot of applications, a lot of dependencies, and you don't have Wi-Fi. You have to manually connect it to the Ethernet cable and work with it, and it's very painful without the Wi-Fi. There's no point working on Linux without the Wi-Fi. So it's really one of the major problems why people are shying away from installing and using Linux. So today here I'm providing few of the directives how to install the drivers for various Broadcom adapters. So the first thing that we'll look at is why we do not have drivers for Broadcom. See, obviously, Broadcom doesn't provide the drivers for Linux, and it is very sad that they don't. And for some adapters they do, and for some adapters they haven't provided. There's a third-party drivers that are available, and for some adapters it works and some doesn't, and there is no very specific understanding of what will work and what will not. But then we have this beautiful document here about the Broadcom 43XX wireless devices, and it explains to some extent of what Broadcom adapters have the drivers available, and what kind of drivers we need to install on these machines. So let's look into this, and it's very interesting. So first thing we need to do is to determine the Broadcom chip within. So for that we need to check what is thing that is what is the adapter that we are having here. So the first thing that we need to run is lspci-v. And the Broadcom. So I'll run it again. So as you can see on my system, this Broadcom has bcm-43142 network controller, and so this is what is my adapter ID. So I am looking for drivers for this adapter. So let me see where can I find these drivers. So here is some list of drivers, kernel drivers for some of the Broadcom adapters. So here it says B43, and have some list of supported devices. B43 legacies, another kernel driver which has support for some other few adapters, and there is something called brcmsmac and rdswlan. And so the thing that you need to do once you found out what is the adapter that you have, what is the ID of the adapter you have, you need to go into each of these supported devices link and check if this whatever Broadcom adapter that you have is supported by this driver or not. So I have checked into going into all these drivers. So I realized that my adapter doesn't have any supported officially supported drivers. So there is the final thing that they have is WL. It's a non-free vendor driver. It is not in mainline Linux kernels, and it is a third-party vendor, and it's not supported by many kernels. So we need to build this WL into the kernel to enable Wi-Fi. So that is the thing we need to do. So BCM43XX is introduced in Linux 2.6.17. So it is again removed after some time for some security, probably security issues, or maybe inconsistency in the drivers, or some reason it is not supported later. So there is a list of ways to install B43 legacy and other drivers here. So this is for Debian distro. So we can find B43 and B43 legacy and other drivers in the kernel, and and some of the kernels have it. In Fedora we have this things already available in the kernel. This module is already available in the kernel. For some of the kernels they don't have it, but you can obviously find the RPMs for these B43 and B43. The important thing that you have to realize here is that you need to find what is the supported kernel driver from the list of these supported devices for each of these drivers. So for example, in my case I have this as the WL is my supported Wi-Fi driver. So let me go here and see here what is the thing that I need to do. So as you can see, in my case I have BCM43142 as my driver, as my adapter name, and BCM43142. So this is the driver I have here. WL is supporting my adapter, this adapter, and so I need to install this. So I can see here there are drivers available for 64-bit, 32-bit, and all these things that are available here. So let's go to the notepad. So we already covered these two. So we have this link which has a list of drivers supported adapters to drivers mapping, and we have this. We are in this document, WL document. So here it has given the instructions to how to install, and this is one of the important thing that we need to do is to remove all the other libraries, or disable all the other libraries before enabling our specific module in the kernel. So these are the things we need to do, and there are some known issues as well, and it's probably, I mean, you might look into it once you're done with actual installation. So these are another PC IDs mapping to your Broadcom adapter. So for my 43142 I have 14E44365 as my. So based on this as well, you can try to search on Google and try to find the specific driver. So for now what we need to do is to, I mean, like we already have checked the version, and command we used is lspci -v grep-i Broadcom, and let's put it here so that it will be easy for us to so we can. So what we need to do is WL is a kernel module, so we need to enable the WL module in the kernel. So for that we need to first understand what is the version of the kernel that we are actually running. So So we need to see what version of kernel I'm running. So so I have two kernels installed on my system. So one is this 4.8.16-300 and 4.8.6-300. So previously I had this module as I have installed this for in one of the update, which I probably shouldn't have done, but any case I had it, so it's not a big thing, a big issue to have this thing. So the important thing that we need to understand here is that you need to understand what is the exact kernel version we are actually running. So we need to install the devel and header files for these kernels only based on the version. We should not install the latest kernel headers and devel versions. That is will create a lot of problems later. So we can check the kernel list here by this command. Then so we already know that WL is the module that have my Broadcom adapter drivers. So first thing is, don't get discouraged. Once you don't have the Wi-Fi, you really get frustrated and you get back to Windows. So but don't think once you're done with this, Linux is very good. You can install so many other things on Linux. You'll have very good experience using Linux once you're just done with this Wi-Fi shit. Sorry. But then the thing that you need to do is to connect your PC or laptop to the Ethernet port. That's the first thing you need to do to have access, so that you can go through some of the links and go through some of the and install RPMs, and you can install some modules, you can update it and all those things. So the first thing we need to do is to install RPM Fusion. So for that we need to go to rpmfusion.org. We are going to rpmfusion.org, and then we will go to enable RPM Fusion on my system. So my system is for 26. There are two versions of RPM Fusion. One is free version, one is non-free version. You need to download both and install both. So I already installed them, but you need to install these both, RPM Fusion free and RPM Fusion non-free. So once this is done, so you install both. These are just basic RPMs that you need to install by giving rpm-ivh and the name, not RPM, whatever you download from the website. So again, now you need to look at the version of the kernel. So the other link that I found very useful is this one. So I'll point out the mistake that this script have. So this is quite useful one. I found this very useful, but this is not applicable on this is not applicable on fedora 25x for this adapter. At least I am not sure about other adapters. For me it didn't work as way I expect, and as way it's supposed to work. And the worst thing is that you don't have access to this file. Whatever he is trying to download here, this file is not available. This is not found. So this file is not there. They have already moved it, and the Broadcom people have already moved it. We don't know where it is, and it's all quite messed up. So So you don't have to do all these things. So one thing that you need to do is to get into root and so yeah, so you will, once you get into the root, so you already know about the kernel that is installed on your system. This is a kernel. Never give install devel star. So that is a mistake I see in this one, because he is installing all the GCC and kernel development packages, which I don't think, I don't think you should be giving it, because if I give kernel devel star, this thing will install the latest kernel development, and it doesn't match with whatever kernel that I'm running, and it creates a mismatch, and that creates a lot of problems. So if you know the version here, so you need to install the particular version of devel. For me, for my case, it is 4.8.6 star. So it's showing that this is what is installed on my system, and version is 4.8.6 and 4.15. So you need to install all these kernel and devel things. Okay, and just hold on. So hyphen 4.8.6. So this is one thing you need to install. This will be coming from RPM Fusion. Where are we exactly? This is done, and so here we are, and we need to install kernel devel and kernel headers. Install kernel headers 4.8.6 star, or whatever kernel version you are currently holding. And then once this is done, once this is done, we need to install few more packages. So one of the important packages that we need to install is brcmsmac, which is in the RPM Fusion that we installed before. akmod-wl RPM. So we have this Broadcom for 55. It is in RPM Fusion, so you can directly give it as just install install Broadcom wl. For me, it is already installed in my system, so there will be a lot of dependencies on this Broadcom wl. So once this will install, the module will be available for us to link it to the kernel. So but we need to build the kernel before actually making this work. So for that, to actually link this WL to the kernel, we need to install one more package, that is install akmod-wl. Okay, so in my case it's already installed. So what this will do is to install that particular module build to the kernel. So always remember, some of the people have faced this issue that once they install this akmod and then try to build the kernel, they face some issue with the kernel. kernel version mismatch, so they are not able to load the driver. So this is very important that you maintain consistency of what is a kernel that you have and what is that you are installing from the devel headers package. So you need to install install akmod-wl. So this will enable akmods command. So once this is done, you need to run akmods. Once you install this, you need to run akmods. So I'll show you what will happen if you run akmods. So what will this do is this will integrate the wl module into this kernel. It will build the kernel and it will integrate the wl into this kernel. So once it's done, this has to be the output. This OK has to be the output. This is the way it comes: building and installing wl kmod, checking kmods exist, put forward this version and OK, and this is installed. In some cases, when you don't know there is a mismatch in the version, you will face issues that this version that is not there, or people don't find that specific files. So you can just clear out the versions and you can try to reinstall again. So this is the step we are in. This is the step we are in. We should not enable the wl driver as of now, because we need to check. Before this, we need to remove all the other drivers that are all the other modules that are linked to the kernel, so they get disabled, and we want to enable only wl for my Wi-Fi adapter to use. So again, you have to we'll do this later. So again, we have to check the kernel version, so that in case of we face any issues in the akmods. So this will be the output. Check the version of akmod is building this thing, and finally we have sudo modprobe wl. So this should not give any error like this module wl not found. This should not, because we already followed very specific steps with building the module into the kernel, making sure that we are not installing wrong kernel devel and header files. And once this is done, you need to just reboot the system and make sure that this probably make sure you just run it or configure the network, the Wi-Fi. So in my case, as you can see, my Wi-Fi is connected and it is working fine. I have no issues. Connectivity is pretty good and everything is pretty working excellent after doing all these steps. So the other thing that I need you to remember is that you need to go through these documents closely before actually understanding all these things. There's one more thing I saw somewhere, that we need to do some steps to make it consistent over various reboots. For example, this one we need to blacklist, add some data to etc modprobe local.conf. This is not needed for at least for Fedora 25, but maybe some other versions of other distros might need this kind of option to be written to this file, so that it will be consistent over various reboots, or to disable some other modules to overtake on the correct module that we are supposed to use. So yeah, so basically this is it. I mean, this is the thing that we need to follow, and finally we'll end up having Wi-Fi and be pretty good after that. I mean, I'm recording this video from Linux, and as you can see, this is going pretty well. I don't face any major issues. After that, I've set up my build environment, my development environment. I installed tons of applications, and my system is working pretty fine now. So I hope you found this video useful and this information useful. I hope you don't spend more time finding all these things that I spent on, and you'll easily find a way to enable Wi-Fi and use Linux more. It's good for the open source. Anyways, thank you everyone, and please subscribe and like the video if you find this useful. Thank you. See you again. Bye.